Okay, so my question is kind of stemming off what you talked about in the opening segment about grace and then having boundaries. So I have one of my best friends has a spending problem and has shared with me that she and her husband have substantial, kind of overwhelming consumer debt. But she hasn't really changed her actions. So I really, and I'm by nature a helper, like an Enneagram 2. So I really don't know how to balance kind of helping versus enabling, or what are my
First of all,
boundaries, you know?
let's get the real enabling off the table. You're not giving her money, are you?
Oh, no.
Okay, that would be
No.
enabling. That would be enabling.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So she's talking to you and she says, "I got consumer debt." What does that mean? What does it look like?
Right. I would say I think what she shared with me about $70,000 in credit card debt.
Credit card debt. Okay. Um,
Yes. Mhm.
and then she's got this credit card debt, and what's she sharing? Besides that, which I got this credit card debt, and I can't stop spending, or I don't know what to do with it, or it's more than we make, or what's the scenario? I feel like Dave
Right. Kind
Ramsey
of
here.
all the what you yeah, and I love Dave Ramsey, and we've done, my husband and I have done Dave Ramsey and had a lot of success. So I've shared with her that, like, the debt snowball was a great way to go about that. And it just kind of seems like the responses I get are kind of, well, I feel debilitated and I'm depressed. And so I know there's more to it. It's a root
Yeah.
problem, but I guess I don't know the appropriate boundaries as a friend versus kind of some
Okay.
tough love of like, let's take an action.
Well, whoa. Here's what I'd like for you to. You're right. It's exactly what we talked about on the beginning of the show. You said the boundaries as a friend versus tough love. It's not a versus. They're together.
I
We're on
see.
the same
Yeah,
team here.
they're together.
We're on the same team here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to love you, Susie, or whatever her name is. But it would
Okay.
sound like this. It would sound like this. We talk a lot about this, and I can see it's really hard for you. And you got the depression part of it, and you feel overwhelmed. But there's also some, some behavioral parts of this debt problem as well. But we talk about this a lot, and then, but there's nothing that happens in between the times that we talk.
Right.
And so that troubles me because I want to see you get out of this. And so what I'd like to do is if we're going to talk about this, then the only thing I want to really talk about or really focus on is what are we going to do? And I say we because I'll be glad to help you, but there's things I cannot do.
Mhm.
Here's what I can
Right.
do. I can make suggestions of my husband and I went through this program. They have one, they've got a financial peace university down at the local church here. It meets on Tuesday nights. Here's a good financial planner I know. And that depression that's part of it, here's a good counselor, or here's a celebrate recovery group, or, whatever it is. And what I want to do is I want to help you see. I'm not an expert in this. I don't know how to do it. I can tell you my experience. And my experience is that we needed to help and we needed to go through the program and we need to do this stuff. And until you do that, I don't think it's going to get better. That's the kind of help she
Right.
probably needs from a friend. See, one of the best things
That's
a
the
friend can do,
conversation.
that's the conversation. And when she comes back and said, well, did you do this? Why don't we do this? I'm going to be you, you be her. Okay. Let's role play this. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Call me. Okay.
Okay. Beth.
Hi,
Okay.
Susie.
Okay.
How are
Beth.
you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm just really stressed. I feel like
Oh,
I'm just
no.
overwhelmed. I don't know what to do, and
That's
I
hard.
just
What's
feel,
overwhelmed by what? What's happening?
yeah, just the money situation again, the debt, and I just feel like it is what it is,
Wait,
and we
is
just
this
don't.
has anything changed? Is this the same debt we talked about?
Yeah, same debt.
Yeah. Okay. So last time we talked, I suggested that check out Financial Peace University and, a financial planner. And I thought maybe some counseling about the depression. So did you do any of those?
I haven't yet.
Well, let's talk about that. Why not? Because what I'm concerned about is I think I want to see you get better, and those things can really help. So let's talk about what's keeping you from doing that.
I think because I feel paralyzed because of the
Mm,
debt, so much debt.
that it's hard to make the appointment.
Yes.
What is that?
I
When
think
you go to
I
make
don't
when
know
you
if
go to
I'm
make
not
the phone
ready.
call.
Yeah.
Well, it's my understanding, and when we went through it, what you need in order to be ready is to have debt.
Oh, that's so good.
I think you're ready. What you need to go to a counselor is have something to talk about, like depression. I really see you as
Yeah.
ready. I think you're ready. See,
Yeah.
we could go on, but what I'm not going to do is get diverted down a lot of rabbit trails. We're going to bring
Right.
the reason. Well, that's all the more reason to go do this, and we're going to be loving and caring. And
Right.
I'm going to help you to do it. But the enabling part you mentioned is just continue to have the same phone call for the next 5 years and not call it
Exactly.
to
That's what
any
I don't
action.
want to happen.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I want to be a
Okay.
good friend. And yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you
If I
so
ever
much,
get
Dr.
any,
Cloud. I love your.
well, thank you. If I ever get any consumer debt, I'm gonna call you, and you can talk me
Okay, good.
right into going to a class.
I will.
How
Well,
about it?
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks for your call, and it is. Oh gosh, the consumer debt problem is can be so overwhelming, so overwhelming. It's one of the things I love about the programs that that Ramsey has put out there, over the years. One of the good things you see, and this is another example of what I was talking about earlier. Involved in that is support. Involved in that is little incremental steps. Involved in that is a group. Involved in that is, it's not just a stop doing this. It's not just rules only. It's also the all the support that goes with it. And if consumer debt is so scary to people, but the good thing about it is you know if you listen to the program or whatever, or read the stories, you'll find it to be like everything else that looks impossible for the person that's in it, that there are people that do it. And that's one of the big things of values, or one of the big values of going to a support group, going to a 12-step group, going to a boundaries.me group, whatever, is is that you overcome. Part of the overcoming is hearing the stories of others and realizing, wait a minute, they were where I am and they were able to do this. It is possible. I talk about one of my favorite verses a lot. And one of my favorite verses is a new one because I never had seen it kind of in this light before. And just yesterday, I was reading in Psalm 107, and it says, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's sort of like, the people that God has done things for, they should tell their story. That's how it starts out. And then it goes into all these stories, slaves in Egypt, and God brought them out with a mighty hand, and we were in the desert, and then he did this. And see, when we get around people that have a story, oh, it's so powerful because they're looking at you going, I was right where you were. I was hopeless too. I was under this pile of debt, or I was depressed, or my marriage was on the brink, or I was whatever. But then the story provides the modeling and the steps and the belief that it can be done. So don't stay isolated in your problem. Okay. Because, it's the lone sheep that gets away from the herd that the wolf is able to destroy. But when you get in that pack, that's why I talk about on this program. My vision for this program is that this tribe of developing herd immunity against dysfunction, right? Herd immunity against dysfunction. And as we learn together and we tell our stories and we hear these different stories, then we learn from each other and you just get stronger. So if you're suffering somewhere in isolation, I really want you to go find that group, that tribe, because there's going to be some people in there that are where you are, but there's going to be some people in there that are further down the road. But which road? The same road. The same road. And they were where you were. One of the treatments I'm going through for my back involves some, particular stuff in the pool. And it just started last week, and I got in the pool and they got me in this contraption. And there's this lady over there. She looks like she's doing a lot better with it than I am. And so I started talking to her, and she said, "Yeah, when I started coming here," and she said, couldn't walk and blah, blah, blah. So it's really helped. And it was nice to hear somebody's like further down the road on this. Gives you hope. And you figure out how it can be done, because I really do want to avoid back surgery if possible. Anyway, okay.